Welcome to this episode of YouTube where I've entitled it A Few Snowy Days, and we have been experiencing a little bit of winter while the rest of the country seems to be having some El Nino warmer than average temperatures. We're getting into winter here, and winter is always a great time. The wolves, as you can tell from their physical coats, are adapted for winter. Winter is something that seems to stimulate activity, it seems to stimulate a little bit of dominance, and it certainly makes for great viewing here at the International Wolf Center. So one of the things that we are seeing is some interesting interactions between our male rank order. Aiden, our dominant male, is going on 8 years of age, and as a dominant male, he's showing some signs of aging. So we're definitely making sure that he is physically and mentally prepared to kind of keep this pack in order and to keep the situation intact when he has a young male who's been eyeing up opportunities, and that's Bolts. Now, Bolts is 3 going on 4 years of age, and that's about the time that they really start to key in on weakness and start to look at opportunities to kind of move up in rank, and that's what we're keeping an eye on. So most of our job is to interpret behavior, and certainly when we look at each individual wolf, we want to key in on how their attitude is as well as how they physically are adapting within the exhibit. So Bolts is always one of those curious and certainly watchful young wolves. Denali, who is Aiden's brother, Aiden is a dominant pack leader, Denali's a second in ranking, is more or less a socially engaging, more tail wagging, less likely to be involved in dominance, certainly less likely to start it, oftentimes is on the receiving end of it from some of the male rank order issues. So that's how things happen here in the wintertime at the International Wolf Center, and we are watching that pretty closely. And of course, we can't forget Luna, our only female, and the dominant female. She plays an important role because she is a pup mate to Bolts, and so they wrestle like pup mates, but she's also holding status as a dominant female, so she can kind of add activity to the mix. And you can see tail postures are something that we look at. Tail tucked is a subordinate posture. So as I said, the male rank order is one of those that does have a little bit of tension in the wintertime because there is that constant observational testing going on from Bolts to try to gain status, and there's that reinforcement of status from Aiden to Denali to keep his role as the pack leader, and then Luna, who is absent of any other females, asserting rank over all of the other males, actually. Maybe not so much Aiden, but certainly causing Aiden a little bit of redirected aggression. That's been causing a little bit of tension. So Luna's definitely a key player in these parts. One thing that we do know is that wolves are pretty easily distracted. We have lots of scents and smells and things that are natural within this exhibit. We do feed roadkill, deer, beaver, brought in a bison hide about a month ago now to try to distract them when I was out for surgery recovery, and that bison hide's still floating around in this enclosure. Every once in a while you see a big black frozen lump of hide. They're still playing with that and interacting with that. So that's something that we know, that distractions can be an important part of management, and it's also important that we know what to watch for. So in other words, ritualized rank order is just part of social behavior, and it's not something that we are too concerned about. But when things get more tense and we see things like hackles, and we see certainly tail tucking and posturing that seems like indicative of an animal that's not very comfortable with the circumstances, then we will award more distractions to the enclosure. So that could be pig's ears, it could be anything. We have a fair amount of distractions naturally, as I said. Squirrels are a big part of it. But that's life on the exhibit here in a snowy day in Minnesota, and January is one of those times when you will see more stimulated behavior. You're certainly seeing more diurnal behavior, although keep in mind, wolves are creatures of habit. They do rest quite a bit, and we do provide cover hay in front of the exhibit. We've been testing out some new cameras that were donated to us from CCTV Camera World. Made a donation to the center of a DVR video recorder as well as 4 cameras to be able to replace a aging surveillance system that crashed again. And I know it doesn't seem too long ago that we got a surveillance system, but we do monitor 24/7 here, and that's important for our management. So things wear out pretty quickly here in the Wolf Lab. So what you're watching here, like I say, is Luna just doing a little bit of posturing over Denali. This is just social. This doesn't mean anything that she's rolling around and he's doing, sniffing, and she's doing what's called an inguinal presentation, just presenting herself. It's actually a ploy in most cases for Luna to lay on top of what Denali was possessing, typically a bone or something like that, and be able to gain possession of it. So that's pretty much Luna's mode of operation. So, like I said, these kind of social behaviors go on. If there's a little bit of threat, you're going to see the lip curl. You're certainly going to see ear postures that are indicative of a wolf not being very comfortable. The more flat back, the more kind of antagonistic or threat display. The more ears perk forward, the more confident and the more interested, and certainly the more alert that they are. So those are things that we watch. And I always want to preface it that wolf care staff are trained to interpret wolf behavior, and that's something that's very, very important to our jobs. So over in retirement, one thing about snowy, colder weather is that wolves get a little bit more frequent food, especially our retirees. We allow them to gorge, we allow them to have a big carcass, but the fact of the matter is, when you're older, your calories, you need more calories to stay warm, and that's really important. And so we have donations of roasts, venison roasts, ribs, you name it. We get donations of a lot of meat scraps. We actually will even buy chicken, we'll buy beef, we'll buy turkey, anything that helps the wolves get through some of these cold spells. And as a matter of fact, when this was filmed, it was fairly warm in the maybe 20s with some snow. When I'm narrating this today, it was 26 below this morning, so we have some of those cold snaps that Minnesota's famous for. What you're watching here is Grizzer using his carnassials to slice the meat off of this roast, and then he'll further use his other teeth, the incisors, to rip and kind of peel the meat off the bone to the point where there's not much left, and that is a very common characteristic. These guys are carnivores, and they're designed to eat meat, and that's what you're seeing here is a very, very dedicated meat eater, and Grizzer likes his treats, so we make sure that he gets plenty of them. He's going on 11. He still had one tooth removed. He had a premolar that had an infection, had to be removed, but he's got all his teeth, and they work quite well. So that is a very important part of winter here, is extra treats, and we make sure that everybody gets the resources that they need, especially Grizzer. And here again you see the effects of snow. These wolves have a two-coat system, so they deal very well with snow conditions and have really no trouble with it. So that's it for this week, and just wanted to put a shout out there. We, under our program's webinar link on the website, we are featuring a January-only special for a subscription to our webinars. We have 14 wolf care webinars that go all the way through the birthdays of the wolves, and having some one-on-one broadcasts of our pups as they develop this summer, and then watching them as they integrate into the pack. So please support the Wolf Care program and join a subscription to get a break on our webinars. And that's it. We'll see you next time.